Complete audio summary of Eldest by Christopher Paolini. The Inheritance Cycle Number 2. First published August 23, 2005. Warning: spoilers ahead. Read to you at Book Nook. Eragon, fresh from his victory over the Shade Durza, struggles to come to terms with the aftermath of the battle in Trondheim and the immense weight of his newfound responsibilities. The battlefield in Farthen Dur remains littered with the corpses of Urgals, humans, and dwarves, and Eragon reflects on the horrors of war and his own fragile mental state. He bears a scar across his back, a physical and emotional reminder of his encounter with Durza, and the weight of being called Shadeslayer by those around him. Saphira, ever by his side, shares his burdens through their mental bond, though she too feels the weight of the battle's aftermath. Ajihad, the leader of the Varden, leads a contingent to hunt down the remaining Urgals in the dwarven tunnels. Eragon and Saphira, along with Arya and Auric, await his return at the gates of Trondheim. However, tragedy strikes when the Urgals ambush Ajihad and his company just as they are emerging from the tunnels. Eragon and Saphira race to the scene, but they are too late to save Ajihad, who is mortally wounded in the attack. The twins, the Varden's magically skilled but suspicious spellcasters, and Murtagh, Eragon's friend, are missing, presumed taken by the Urgals. Ajihad, with his dying breath, entrusts Eragon with the final command: to ensure the Varden does not fall into chaos and to protect its future. Overwhelmed with grief and responsibility, Eragon resolves to honor Ajihad's last request. The Varden mourn the loss of their leader, and tensions rise as the question of succession looms large. Jormungandr, Ajihad's second-in-command, gathers the Council of Elders, a group of influential leaders within the Varden, to determine the path forward. Meanwhile, King Hrothgar, leader of the dwarves, offers condolences and prepares to play a role in the political proceedings, knowing that the stability of the Varden affects all who oppose Galbatorix. The Council of Elders convenes and summons Eragon to their chambers. Eragon, weary from the events and wary of the Council's motives, attends the meeting accompanied by Saphira. The Council, comprising Jormungandr, Sabri, Yumurth, Falberd, and Elisari, reveals their intention to maintain control of the Varden's leadership by appointing Niswada, Ajihad's daughter, as his successor. They argue that her youth and inexperience will allow them to guide her decisions and wield power from behind the scenes. They seek Eragon's support, knowing that his status as a dragon rider and hero lends significant credibility to their plans. Reluctantly, Eragon agrees to attend Niswada's appointment ceremony, though he carefully avoids pledging unconditional allegiance to the council. He recognizes their manipulative intentions, but understands the importance of unity within the Varden during this critical period. Saphira supports his decision, advising caution and pragmatism. Together, they strategize to navigate the complex political landscape while staying true to their principles. Niswada is summoned to the council chamber, where the elders formally offer her the leadership of the Varden. Though grieving her father's death, Niswada accepts the mantle with quiet determination. Her resolve and poise impress Eragon, who begins to see her as a capable and principled leader. Privately, she speaks with Eragon and Saphira, revealing her awareness of the council's manipulations and her plans to assert her independence as leader. She assures them that she will honor her father's legacy and fight for the Varden's cause with unwavering dedication. As preparations for Ajihad's funeral and Niswada's appointment ceremony begin, tensions within the Varden remain palpable. Arya, the Elven ambassador, expresses her concerns about the political situation and the council's influence over Niswada. She confronts Eragon about his involvement with the council, accusing him of undermining the delicate balance of power between the elves, the Varden, and the dwarves. Eragon defends his actions, explaining his intent to navigate the situation without compromising his independence or loyalty to the Varden. The funeral ceremony is a solemn and emotional event. Ajihad's body is laid to rest in a tomb within Trondheim, surrounded by the grieving members of the Varden and the dwarves. Niswada delivers a heartfelt eulogy, vowing to honor her father's memory and lead the Varden with strength and integrity. Eragon and Saphira, deeply moved by the ceremony, pledge privately to support Niswada in her efforts to unite the Varden and resist Galbatorix's tyranny. In the days following the funeral, Niswada officially assumes leadership of the Varden in a formal ceremony attended by representatives from the elves, dwarves, and the Varden's various factions. Eragon, as promised, publicly pledges his fealty to the Varden and its new leader. This act bolsters Niswada's authority and reassures the Varden's members of their unity and strength. However, Eragon remains acutely aware of the challenges ahead, both for himself and the Varden as a whole. Meanwhile, Roran, Eragon's cousin, struggles with his own challenges in Carvajal. Having returned to the village after his father's death, Roran grapples with the loss of his family's farm and his dreams of a simple life with Katrina, the woman he loves. The appearance of the Arazak, mysterious and deadly agents of Galbatorix, brings new danger to the village. Roran becomes a reluctant leader, rallying the villagers to protect their homes and families from the Empire's forces. As Roran's story unfolds, it becomes clear that his path is intertwined with Eragon's, though the two are separated by distance and circumstance. Both young men face immense challenges and are forced to make difficult decisions to protect those they care about. The themes of sacrifice, resilience, and the burdens of leadership are explored through their parallel journeys. Eragon, along with Saphira, prepares to depart for Elesmera, the elven homeland, to undergo further training as a dragon rider. The decision to send him to the elves is influenced by both necessity and tradition, as the elves are the only beings capable of providing the advanced instruction he needs in magic, combat, and the ways of riders. Despite his anticipation, Eragon is haunted by doubts about his abilities and the lingering pain from his back injury, a constant reminder of his encounter with Durza. Saphira reassures him, urging him to focus on the challenges ahead and the importance of their journey. Before leaving, Eragon bids farewell to Niswada, who offers him words of encouragement and the importance of his training to the Varden's cause. She emphasizes her trust in him and his bond with Saphira, expressing her hope that they will return stronger and ready to help overthrow Galbatorix. Eragon also shares a poignant farewell with Arya, though their interactions remain tinged with tension and unspoken emotions. Arya agrees to accompany him partway to Elesmera, a decision that both reassures and unsettles Eragon. The journey to Elesmera begins with Eragon, Saphira, Arya, and Auric, who represents the dwarves as an envoy. The group travels through the Beer Mountains, navigating treacherous terrain and contending with the constant threat of ambush by Galbatorix's forces. Along the way, Eragon continues to struggle with the physical and emotional toll of his responsibilities. His bond with Saphira deepens as they rely on each other for strength and solace. As the group progresses, Eragon's training resumes under Arya's guidance. She teaches him the nuances of magic and the ancient language, the foundation of all spells and Allegisia. Arya's instruction is rigorous, and she pushes Eragon to refine his skills and overcome his limitations. Despite her stern demeanor, Eragon grows to respect her expertise and her commitment to the cause. Saphira, too, learns from Arya, honing her flying techniques and gaining insight into her role as a dragon. The journey is marked by moments of tension and introspection. Eragon grapples with feelings of inadequacy, particularly when he compares himself to Arya and Auric, both of whom display unwavering confidence and competence. He questions his ability to fulfill the expectations placed upon him and wonders if he will ever be able to match the legendary riders of old. These doubts are compounded by his recurring back pain, which flares up during moments of exertion and serves as a constant reminder of his vulnerability. As they near Elesmera, the group encounters unexpected challenges. They face attacks from Urgles and other creatures loyal to Galbatorix, forcing them to rely on their combined skills and resourcefulness to survive. These battles test Eragon's growing abilities and provide opportunities for him to apply what he has learned from Arya. He begins to see progress in his training, though he remains acutely aware of how far he still has to go. Upon reaching the outskirts of Elesmera, the group is greeted by the elven queen, Islanzadi, who reveals herself to be Arya's mother. This revelation shocks Eragon, as he realizes the depth of Arya's royal lineage and the burden she carries as an ambassador for her people. Islanzadi welcomes them with dignity and formality, expressing gratitude for Eragon and Saphira's role in the battle against the Empire. She pledges the elves continued support for the Varden and their commitment to training Eragon. Eldest is a city of breathtaking beauty, seamlessly integrated into the natural landscape of the forest. The elves' architecture, magic, and way of life leave Eragon awestruck, and he feels both inspired and intimidated by their elegance and sophistication. He is introduced to Aramis, an elderly elf and the last remaining dragon rider besides Galbatorix. Aramis, along with his dragon, Glader, becomes Eragon's mentor, taking over his training and guiding him on the path to becoming a true rider. Aramis's instruction is demanding and comprehensive, encompassing combat techniques, magical theory, and the history of the riders. He emphasizes the importance of discipline, humility, and understanding the balance of nature and magic. Under Aramis's tutelage, Eragon learns to control his emotions, channel his energy more effectively, and expand his magical abilities. Glader also provides guidance to Saphira, sharing wisdom accumulated over centuries and helping her understand her role as a protector and guide for Eragon. The training is not without its challenges. Eragon's back injury continues to hinder him, causing intense pain during physical exertion and moments of magical strain. Aramis diagnoses the injury as a remnant of Durz's magic, a wound that cannot be fully healed but can be managed with practice and mental fortitude. Eragon is forced to confront his limitations and find ways to adapt, developing resilience and determination in the face of adversity. During his time in Eldest, Eragon forms bonds with the elves and gains a deeper appreciation for their culture and values. He observes their dedication to preserving the natural world and their reverence for life, which contrasts with the destructive ambitions of Galbatorix. These experiences broaden Eragon's perspective and reinforce his commitment to the Varden's cause. However, he also feels a growing sense of alienation, recognizing the vast differences between himself and the elves, as well as the weight of his dual identity as a human and a rider. Meanwhile, Roran's journey in Carvajal takes a dramatic turn as the Arazak intensify their efforts to capture him. The Empire's forces target the village, seeking to use Roran as leverage against Eragon. Roran emerges as a leader among the villagers, organizing their defenses and inspiring them to resist the Empire's oppression. His determination to protect Katrina and the people of Carvajal becomes the driving force behind his actions, and he displays remarkable courage and resourcefulness in the face of overwhelming odds. Roran's leadership earns him the respect and loyalty of the villagers, who rally behind him in their struggle for survival. They fight back against the Arazak and their soldiers, employing guerrilla tactics and exploiting their knowledge of the local terrain. The conflict escalates, and Carvajal becomes a battleground, with the villagers facing increasingly dire circumstances. Roran's resolve is tested as he grapples with the moral complexities of war and the sacrifices required to protect those he loves. The parallel narratives of Eragon and Roran highlight their respective growth and the challenges they face as they navigate their roles in the larger conflict. Both characters are driven by a sense of duty and a desire to protect their loved ones, though their paths and methods differ. Eragon's journey in Eldest represents a period of learning and introspection, while Roran's experiences in Carvajal underscore the harsh realities of resistance and survival. As Eragon's training progresses, he becomes more attuned to his bond with Saphira and gains a deeper understanding of his role as a rider. Aramis and Glader challenge him to think critically and embrace his responsibilities with maturity and wisdom. Eragon begins to see the interconnectedness of all life and the importance of balancing strength with compassion. These lessons shape his character and prepare him for the trials that lie ahead. Eragon's training in Eldest intensifies as Aramis and Glader push him to reach his potential, preparing him for the immense challenges he will face as a rider. Aramis delves into advanced lessons on magic, the ancient language, and the philosophical underpinnings of being a rider. Eragon begins to grasp the deeper connections between magic, life, and the natural world, though the lessons test his endurance and mental fortitude. His bond with Saphira grows stronger as they learn to operate more seamlessly as a team, and she too receives guidance from Glader, whose wisdom and experience provide invaluable insights. One of the pivotal moments during this period is the Agiti Bladron, the Blood Oath celebration, rare elven ritual held to honor the ancient pact between the elves and the dragons. The ceremony is a profound cultural and magical event, and Eragon feels both honored and apprehensive to participate. The elves celebrate the bond between their race and the dragons with songs, dances, and displays of magic. During the festivities, Eragon is blessed by the elves' collective magic, a transformative act that alters his physical and spiritual essence. He emerges from the ceremony with enhanced abilities, including improved strength, speed, and heightened senses, as well as a physical change. His features take on a more elven appearance. Though grateful for the newfound power, Eragon grapples with the implications of his transformation, feeling further distanced from his human roots. Meanwhile, Roran continues to lead the villagers of Carvajal in their fight against the Empire's forces. The Arazak, relentless in their pursuit, orchestrate increasingly aggressive attacks on the village, forcing Roran and the villagers to adopt more desperate measures. Roran's leadership solidifies as he devises strategies to outmaneuver the Empire's soldiers and protect his people. He earns the moniker Strong Hammer for his courage and prowess in battle, a symbol of hope and defiance for the beleaguered villagers. Roran's determination to rescue Katrina from the Arazak's clutches drives him to take bold actions. He persuades the villagers to abandon Carvajal and undertake a perilous journey to Cirta, where they hope to find refuge and support from the Varden. The decision to leave their homes is fraught with emotion, as the villagers grapple with the loss of their livelihoods and the uncertainty of their future. Under Roran's leadership, they embark on the arduous trek, facing numerous hardships, including treacherous terrain, attacks from Empire forces, and dwindling supplies. As Roran and the villagers journey southward, their plight becomes a symbol of resistance against the Empire. Word of their defiance spreads, inspiring others to stand against Galbatorix's tyranny. Roran's resolve is tested repeatedly, as he must make difficult decisions to ensure the survival of his people. His love for Katrina remains his driving force, and he vows to rescue her no matter the cost. Back in Elesmera, Eragon's training takes a darker turn as Oromis reveals crucial information about Galbatorix's rise to power and the fall of the Dragon Riders. Eragon learns of the Forsworn, the traitorous riders who betrayed their kin to serve Galbatorix, and the black magic Galbatorix used to enslave his dragon, Shrukin. Oromis emphasizes the gravity of Eragon's role in the conflict, warning him of the immense power and cunning of their enemy. These revelations deepen Eragon's understanding of the stakes and fuel his determination to become a worthy rider. Eragon also learns more about his family history during this time. Oromis reveals that Brahm, Eragon's first mentor, was not only a rider but also deeply connected to Eragon's past. Through Oromis and Arya, Eragon uncovers hints about his lineage, though many questions remain unanswered. These revelations stir conflicting emotions in Eragon as he grapples with his identity and the legacy he has inherited. As his training nears its conclusion, Eragon receives a vision through his connection to the magical currents of Alagaesia. He sees Roran and the villagers battling the Empire's forces and fleeing their home. Eragon is overcome with guilt and concern for his cousin, realizing the hardships Roran has endured in his absence. He resolves to aid Roran and the villagers, knowing that their fight is tied to the larger struggle against Galbatorix. The narrative shifts focus to the Varden, where Naswada faces her own set of challenges as the newly appointed leader. Despite her youth and inexperience, Naswada quickly proves herself a capable and resourceful leader. She consolidates her authority within the Varden, winning the respect and loyalty of her people through decisive actions and a clear vision for the future. Naswada also navigates the complex political dynamics between the Varden, the dwarves, and the elves, working to strengthen their alliance against the Empire. One of Naswada's boldest decisions is to move the Varden to Cirta, a southern kingdom that opposes Galbatorix's rule. She establishes a new base of operations in the Burning Plains, a desolate and strategically significant region near the Empire's borders. The relocation is a massive undertaking, requiring careful planning and coordination. Naswada's leadership is tested as she oversees the logistics of the move while maintaining the morale and unity of the Varden. Naswada also implements an innovative plan to fund the Varden's war efforts. She introduces a system called Weaving for War, where the women of the Varden and Serta produce lace to be sold in neighboring regions. The initiative proves highly successful, generating much-needed revenue for the Varden and earning Naswada widespread admiration. Her ability to think creatively and act decisively cements her reputation as a leader who is both pragmatic and visionary. As the Varden prepares for an inevitable confrontation with the Empire, tensions rise within their ranks. The loss of Ajahad continues to cast a shadow over the organization, and internal divisions threaten to undermine their efforts. Naswada works tirelessly to address these challenges, relying on her advisors and allies, including Jormungandr, Arya, and Eragon, to maintain cohesion and focus. Eragon, having completed the initial phase of his training, bids farewell to Oromuz and Glader, who remind him that his journey as a rider is far from over. With Saphira, he departs Eldest and sets out to reunite with the Varden. Along the way, he reflects on the lessons he has learned and the responsibilities that lie ahead. He knows that the path before him will be fraught with danger and sacrifice, but he is resolved to fight for the freedom of Alagaezia. Eragon and Saphira return from Eldest to join the Varden as the resistance movement relocates to Serta and prepares for an imminent confrontation with the Empire. Their journey back is marked by a growing sense of urgency, as Eragon reflects on his training and the burden of responsibility that awaits him. The lessons imparted by Oromuz and Glader have left him with a deeper understanding of his role as a rider, yet he remains acutely aware of his limitations and the challenges that lie ahead. Saphira shares his concerns, but her unwavering confidence in their bond bolsters his resolve as they press onward. The Varden, now stationed near the burning plains, are bolstered by reinforcements from Serta and the dwarves, creating a formidable force. Naswada, firmly established as the leader of the Varden, oversees preparations for battle with the same determination and ingenuity that have defined her leadership. She ensures that supplies, weaponry, and strategies are in place to counter Galbatorix's forces while maintaining morale among the troops. The oppressive heat and desolation of the burning plains test the endurance of everyone involved, but Naswada's leadership inspires confidence and unity. As Eragon and Saphira near the Varden's camp, they receive word of Roran's arrival with the villagers of Carvajal. Roran's harrowing journey from their home to Serta has forged him into a charismatic and fearless leader, and his story spreads quickly through the camp, earning him the respect of the Varden's warriors. Eragon is overwhelmed with relief and pride when he is finally reunited with his cousin, though the joy of their reunion is tempered by the weight of the decisions they have both made. Roran confronts Eragon about the events that led to the destruction of their family and village, and the two share an emotionally charged conversation in which they reconcile their differences and reaffirm their bond as family. Roran's resolve to rescue Katrina, who remains a prisoner of the Arazak, drives him to seek Eragon's help. Eragon, torn between his duty to the Varden and his loyalty to his cousin, pledges to assist Roran in any way he can. However, the impending battle against Galbatorix's forces takes precedence, and Eragon assures Roran that they will address Katrina's plight as soon as the immediate threat is dealt with. The promise solidifies their partnership, with both men understanding that their fates are now intertwined in the larger conflict. The Empire's army, led by soldiers loyal to Galbatorix and bolstered by monstrous Urgals and deadly spellcasters, approaches the burning plains. Tensions rise as the Varden and their allies prepare for the confrontation, with strategies and battle lines drawn. Eragon takes his place among the leaders of the Varden, lending his insights and abilities to the effort. Saphira's presence inspires awe and courage among the troops, her formidable size and power a stark reminder of the ancient strength of the Dragon Riders. The battle began with the thunderous charge of cavalry and the bellow of war horns. Lines of soldiers surged forward, clashing in a cacophony of steel and screams. Arrows darkened the skies, and magic erupted in blinding flashes as spellcasters unleashed devastating attacks. The air was thick with the acrid scent of blood and charred flesh. Eragon and Saphira dove into the heart of the fray, their bond allowing them to move as one. Saphira's flames cut wide swaths through the Empire's ranks, while Eragon wielded Zarok with precision, cutting down foes and protecting his allies. The battle ebbed and flowed in a violent rhythm, each side pressing forward and retreating in turn. The Varden's forces, though smaller, fought with unyielding determination. Naswada's leadership proved invaluable as she directed the chaos, issuing orders with calm authority even as the tide of battle threatened to overwhelm them. Serdan cavalry broke through enemy lines, only to be met with a countercharge of Empire soldiers bolstered by monstrous Urgles. The dwarves held their ground with stoic resolve, their shields and axes forming an unbreakable wall against the enemy's advance. Amid the chaos, Eragon caught sight of a disturbance in the Empire's ranks. A massive red dragon rose into the sky, its wings beating with terrifying power. Thorn, the young but formidable dragon, carried on his back a figure Eragon knew all too well, Murtaugh. The sight of his former ally, now an enemy, sent a jolt of shock and sorrow through Eragon. Murtaugh, clad in dark armor, radiated a commanding presence as he guided Thorn into battle. Thorn and Saphira clashed in the air with a fury that mirrored the storm of emotions between their riders. The dragon's roars shook the heavens, and their claws and teeth raked against each other in a deadly dance. Below, Eragon and Murtaugh faced off, their confrontation charged with years of shared history and the bitter realization that their paths had diverged so violently. Murtaugh's power was undeniable. His strikes were precise and brutal, and his mastery of magic far exceeded what Eragon had anticipated. Every swing of his sword and every spell he cast carried the weight of his anger and his bitterness at being enslaved by Galbatorix's will. Eragon struggled to keep up, drawing on every lesson he had learned from Oromis to counter Murtaugh's relentless attacks. Sparks flew as their blades met, the ringing of steel drowned out by the cacophony of the battle around them. As they fought, Murtaugh revealed a truth that shattered Eragon's world. They were brothers, bound by blood through their mother, Selena. The revelation hit Eragon like a physical blow, shaking his resolve. His thoughts became a torrent of confusion and disbelief, and in that moment of hesitation, Murtaugh struck a decisive blow. Eragon fell to the ground, his strength drained and his spirit reeling. Standing over him, Murtaugh made his intentions clear. Though bound to Galbatorix, he spared Eragon's life, a gesture born of a conflicted heart. He took Zarok, claiming it as his birthright as the elder son of Morzin, their shared father. The loss of Zarok was a bitter wound for Eragon, a symbol of his defeat and the weight of the legacy he now shared with Murtaugh. As Murtaugh and Thorn withdrew, their departure was a chilling reminder of the power Galbatorix wielded through his enslaved riders. Despite Eragon's personal loss, the battle raged on. The Varden's forces were pushed to their limits, their lines threatening to break under the Empire's relentless assault. Naswada's voice carried over the din, rallying her soldiers with words of encouragement and unyielding resolve. The arrival of reinforcements from the dwarves turned the tide, their disciplined ranks breaking through the enemy's formations and giving the Varden a much-needed advantage. Roran, wielding his hammer with unparalleled ferocity, became a beacon of hope for the soldiers around him. His strength and determination were infectious, and he led charge after charge, refusing to yield even in the face of overwhelming odds. The villagers of Carvajal, inspired by Roran's leadership, fought with a desperation born of their shared struggle and their desire to protect their loved ones. Eragon, though battered and bloodied, found his way back to the fight. With Saphira, he unleashed a final, coordinated attack that shattered the Empire's remaining forces. Their combined strength and resolve drove the enemy into retreat, securing a hard-fought victory for the Varden. The burning plains, though scarred and littered with the remnants of battle, stood as a testament to the resilience and courage of those who had fought there. As the dust settles, Eragon reflects on the revelations and challenges of the battle. His encounter with Murtagh and the loss of Zarok weigh heavily on him, but he resolves to continue his fight against Galbatorix with renewed determination. Roran, emboldened by his success on the battlefield, presses Eragon to fulfill his promise to rescue Katrina, and the two begin to plan their next steps. The end. I hope you have enjoyed this summary. If you liked it, please subscribe so I can keep uploading even more books. Also, giving me a like helps a lot. I will probably be doing a summary of the rest of the series, but if you would like me to summarize any specific book, please write me it in the comments.